This is episode one of the Eternal Audio Diary, starring me, Eternally Stevie. Um, this podcast, I guess, is going to be kind of just like a weekly diary or whenever I decide to upload, just like a diary of things between uploads. So just like how I feel and stuff that I've observed, stuff that I've learned, just keeping it in a central kind of place. And it's currently 2:53 a.m. on November 1st, 2024, and I have to be up for work by like 9 a.m. Stayed up until about 8 a.m. yesterday on Halloween. Went to bed, had to be up by 2 for work on Halloween. Took a nap after I got off work. Woke up at like 11 p.m. Haven't been able to go back to sleep. Sleep schedule's ruined. What can you do? Okay, so this is kind of just and this first kind of diary is just gonna be kind of an amalgamation of just some more recent feelings. Starting off, I this is the first Halloween where I haven't done anything special. Like every other Halloween, I've either gone trick or treating with family, or when I was in college, we went to like a little like party type thing. Um, so this is like the first Halloween where I was at home. I didn't even play games with my friends. I was in my friends' Twitch streams, watching them play spooky games and stuff. But this, like, other than that, like, I was literally just in my bed. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't give out candy. I didn't go trick or treating. I didn't talk to my family really. Yeah. So not feeling great about that, guys. Not feeling good about that one. The adult life is scary. The adult alone life is even scarier. But that's something that we face. Hopefully next year I'll do something special. In other news, I have decided that I'm going to stop really caring about perception. Not necessarily stop caring about perception. That's kind of a like broad way of wording it, but I mean like if I want to get back in on experiencing and be back in real life, because I've kind of in recent years since the pandemic and a little bit kind of before the pandemic too, I've kind of limited myself to online interaction. I don't really leave my house much. I work from home, and even before I had my work from home job, I would literally just go to work and come home. And so my only interaction was really with the customers that I had at my job and my coworkers, um, which is better than what I'm doing now, which is where I sit at home all day. And I do talk to my friends, and that's a great social interaction. I love my friends to death. I would do anything for them. Um, and I really appreciate all of them. But there's just nothing compares to being out in the world, whether it's the, moonlight on your skin or the sunlight on your skin, and talking to people physically in front of you, feeling the warmth of like an environment of like just a crowd of people. And I'm not even like a huge person who likes to go to those kind of settings. Like I'm not like very fond of being surrounded by a large group of people or anything. But I think that's something that I've been missing, and I think it's something that is vital to being a human and experiencing life and like being happy. Because as much as anybody who stays inside all day and stuff like me likes to deny it, it's very depressive behavior. And we can say that we're happy and we it's just how we like to live and it's what we like to do. And we love hanging out with our friends, we love playing the video games, we love, but it really, without all of the interactions and connections with people in real life, tangible people that you can reach out and touch and grab their shoulder or hold their hand or give them a hug or smell their like just natural smell, which I know that may sound a little weird, but like just being in a physical environment is so vital to like getting some sort of serotonin that I've been missing since 2020. And I think part of the reason that I kind of like went into this kind of spell over the past, half decade is just because I've been afraid, really. The pandemic happened, and so everybody was all scared about, getting sick, and people were dying, and people were not able to see each other for months, up to even a year. Some people not even be able to see, their loved ones to this day because of the severity of the pandemic that happened. Um, and so that kind of started the fear, and then being at home all the time subjects you to like constantly intaking news on the internet, and so you see how many more of these violent crimes are happening and being reported like daily. And so it made me scared to even go outside, especially being a gay man. um it made me scared to like interact with anyone, because what if I go outside, especially also being from Texas, going outside and just talking to someone, like seeing someone like on the sidewalk that I'm like walking past, or in a store that like I like accidentally bump into, God forbid, or like I trip and fall in front of, or they trip and fall near me and think that I tripped them, like something like that happens, and then it escalates into something like dangerous, like stuff like that. Like it weighed on my mind so heavily, and it made me to the point where I didn't want to go outside. I was like becoming like agoraphobic. Like I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to be in the public setting because I was so terrified of anything happening to where I could literally just like I could just die. Like that's the simplest way to put it. Like I just I don't want to feel that way anymore though. I I want to be able to like go out when anybody asks me to go out. I want to be able to like experience how I'm supposed to experience life in my 20s, because in your 20s you're not supposed to know what's happening. You're supposed to learn what's happening. In your 30s is when you're supposed to know what's going on, and when you're supposed to actually have a hold on life. And I think that part of the culture of today's like youth and growing up and even adulthood, it gets so squished. Like we're supposed to, it feels like you're supposed to know how to do everything by 20. When I realistically, you're in school till you're 18, and then some people go to college and some people don't. But that's realistically only 2 years that you're expected to know everything about adulthood, or that's what it feels like. It feels like you're expected to know everything about adulthood, taxes and bank accounts and credit and buying a house and being in a relationship and getting married and having kids and being stable and just having that sort of stability. It feels like we're supposed to have that by the time we're 20 nowadays. And that's not something that I have had the fortune of being able to do, because especially because of the past half decade. But I've also never been, I am an outgoing person, and I'm a very kind person, and I get told that I'm like hilarious all the time. And so I know that I can easily make friends, and I'm very sociable, and I had a lot of friends in college before, because I'm able to be that kind of person. Um, but with the fear that all came, it kind of diminished that person in me, and it it reflecting on it, it makes me sad. Like I'm not who I'm not like the little 19-year-old that I was before the pandemic anymore. And the 19-year-old that I was before the pandemic would literally be so like a high energy, high spirited kind of person. And I think there's still shades of that in me today, obviously. But 19-year-old me wouldn't have liked who I am right now. Like we wouldn't have become friends if we ran into each other on a sidewalk, or at a college party, or in a college classroom, or you know even on the internet. Like 19-year-old me and me now would not like be cool with each other at all, I don't think. And I think that that's sad. Like, and I know that growth and change is part of part of life, but I think it's supposed to be that the older you doesn't like the younger you, not necessarily that the younger you doesn't like the older you, because you're supposed to grow and become better. And I don't feel like I've become better be- because of, like I said, the agoraphobia and the not wanting to go outside and just the fear, just the overall fear. Um, so yeah, I want to go back. I want to start going outside more, and I want to start experiencing things. And so I'm trying to drop letting how people perceive me affect how I want to portray myself to other people, because I think that I also let people, the idea of people seeing me and seeing how I am, I think I let that affect how I am in a public setting too. And not that I'm like a crazy like jumping off the walls kind of person in the middle of a Marshalls, but I'm not a type of person who's afraid to like, see someone beside me looking at an item and be like, oh my gosh, that's like such a cute item, or oh, like I really like your shirt. I'm the type of person who I would say that I love giving compliments to people. I think that it's very like kind, and in this world too, like compliments nowadays are also kind of not something that a lot of people are willing to give out anymore to strangers, because it's seen as scary too. Like it's another fear thing where um women cannot trust any man complimenting them, because men are so like malicious these days and creepy and weird. And it breaks my heart, because I love people, and I want them to know that like they're special, and that they deserve a compliment in the middle of the Marshalls if they're wearing a cute shirt. Like, I don't know. I want to go back to that person, and I want to be that person. Um, and so I'm trying to shed the layer that I've built around myself, of just feeling like when people look at me, they see like an an unattractive or a an undesirable or an unapproachable person, because I don't care. If you don't think I'm approachable, then don't approach me. If you don't think I'm attractive, then don't approach me. Don't talk to me. I don't care anymore. Like I'm trying to get to the point where I can say like that's fine, because not everyone in the world is meant to like you. And that's just something that I've struggled with as well, because I do want everyone to like me. Um and so I've got to just get to the point where I have to live for me. And I feel like I haven't been living for me in both senses of the word, in both the realistic sense and the gay sense of the word. I haven't been living for myself, in terms of I've been so worried about making sure everybody else is happy around me, and like I'm making sure that I have, strong friendships and strong relationships with people that I don't even necessarily care about. Like, and not to say that I like have relationships with my friends that I don't care about. I care about all of my friends so deeply. Like every single one of my friends, if I call you a friend, I care about you deeply. But there are some people, not that I still talk to today, really, that I have built connections with, and like, and I've tried to maintain such a strong connection with with these people, or with these person, for a long time, and I didn't really truly care about them, because they didn't add anything to my life. They didn't bring me any sort of good or benefit, or even really reciprocate any sort of energy to me, and it just sucks. And so I'm trying to get back to a space where I am just living for myself. And I think that's very important as well. I used to be very afraid going on dating apps and stuff. Tinder and Bumble and Hinge. I used to make accounts on there, and I wouldn't really fill out much of the prompts, because I was like kind of scared to let people know much about me on those apps. And I use the name Stevie across all of my internet like privilege, or like whatever like internet access. My name appears as Stevie in 90% of places, because I want to protect myself, and I think it is important to protect yourself on the internet, whether that's by having, a an alternate name or an alias, whatever you choose to use, I think it is important to protect yourself. Um, and that's just how I choose to go about it. And I have kind of recently kind of been dropping more of that wall with that protection. And it has been kind of freeing not having to, make sure that everyone knows that I'm Stevie and nothing else. And stuff like that. It just makes it so much easier not having to necessarily worry about it. Obviously, I've gotten so used to introducing myself as Stevie that Stevie is me and I am Stevie, and that's part of who I am. And my internet personality is who I am in real life, and I liked, and so like they're the same person as my IRL self. Um, which I, like I said, I am going to continue to go by Stevie. I don't really want to announce myself as my real name. If you know my real name, that's because I trust you enough, and maybe that's something I need to work on as well, is just trusting more. But trust is another issue that I have with some people because of stuff that has happened. But that's not for right. That's not a story for right now. Um, but I get on these dating apps, and I used to not fill out all the prompts, and I used to like just start swiping right on everyone just because I was so desperate for attention and just like whatever I could get. So I was just taking it wherever I could. And so it led me to like matching and like talking to a lot of like very like, not that they're unattractive. I'm just not attracted to them. And so obviously that puts me in a bad situation. Don't do that. If you're not attracted to someone, then you should not, lead them on. That's very poor of me. And I admit that and I own that. And I have since, and especially more recently, been more on top of that, and not swipe. And if I do swipe on someone that and I match with them, and then I kind of look at them again, and I'm like, and I like I will always talk to anybody a little bit. If I match with you, I will always talk to you a little bit, regardless if it's just hi, how are you, and we have like a one conversation, and then I'll like kind of reevaluate, I guess. Um, but if I'm not vibing, I will literally just say like I'm not vibing, or like in worst cases, I'll just like won't respond, which is fine. I don't understand why there's a stigma about not responding. Like, I do think, I do think it is important to convey how you feel, but also sometimes it's better to just not respond, because I would rather you not respond to me than be like, no, I don't really, I think you're kind of ugly, so I'm not really into you. Uh, no, you don't tell me that. Like, I would rather me say, hey, how are you? And you say, good. And I'm like, oh, what are you up to? And then you just don't respond. Not like, I'm actually not that interested in you. I just was swiping right on everyone. That is crazy. If you do that, you're a psychopath. I started more recently answering the prompts, and on Hinge they have voice prompts, and so I did a voice prompt, and they have video prompts, which I'm still kind of coming around to. It is something I'm working on, because I still have some qualms with my appearance, which is something that everybody has, and I am working on it, and I am more happy with my appearance as of recent than I was slightly less recently. um, So I have been opening up more on those apps, and it actually has caused me to get a lot more matches, especially in the smaller part. First of all, in Texas, where Texas does have a large population of gay people, but a lot of them are DL, um, and it has caused me to get opening up and like doing more of the stuff has caused me to get a lot more matches, because I think it is showing my personality, and I think that my personality, I think I have a great personality, and I think that my personality is one that blends well with a multitude of people. um and so I think that that's caused me to get a lot more matches than I was before, when I wasn't really putting a lot on there, and I was just hoping for people to just, I don't know, see a picture of someone that I wasn't even necessarily happy with looking at in myself, talking about myself. I was just counting on people to look at a picture of someone that didn't even like how they looked themselves and expected them to just go off that, which isn't very. It's that's not going to work for you. You can't go on to these apps, or you can't go even like to public with the mindset of finding someone to talk to or to date. Um, if you are not in a place where you like, I would say, I mean, obviously it's ideal to like all of yourself, or like, the most of yourself, but even if you like don't even like half of yourself, if there's enough things about yourself that you are picking apart, you are not in the space to where you like should or are going to find what you're looking for in a relationship out there. And so I think that's something I've learned, especially recently, coming into this mindset where I'm okay with people not perceiving me exactly how I want to be perceived, because they're just not meant to get it, and they don't have to be in my life for it. And I'm okay, and I like how I look. I know that there's some things, I could use a haircut, and my teeth may be a little crooked, and I may be like hairy in some places that other people just aren't hairy at, and it kind of can get a little frustrating because that's not how I like ideally would like to be hairy. Um, to get a little nasty, sorry. But there's things like that where I do think about that, and I do see that, and that's something that I do like want to fix about myself. But those are such easily cosmetic changes that I could do and can do whenever. It's just a matter of maintenance and upkeep. Well, not the necessarily crooked teeth thing, but that's just something that I have, and uh, y'all want to pay for my braces, go for it. Like I can't afford braces, and I don't. At this point, I take pride in being a gap tooth bitch. I don't care. You don't like my gap teeth? Okay, look away. Like I'm not talking to you. Like you don't. I don't have a video camera forcing you to look at me the entire time I'm doing this. Look away. Like I don't care. I don't care about like that if I have a gap tooth and it's undesirable to people. I don't care if I have long hair right now. I can get it cut if I want to. And I do want to, but it's a matter of timing, and I don't have a lot of time to do so or the travel means to go get a haircut. And some people would say, "Oh, well, why don't you just order your own clippers and stuff?" And I do live with people who have clippers, but I don't know how to cut hair. I'm just gonna look like a fool unless I just buzz cut myself, which I don't want a buzz cut. I want it to be styled, and I want to have like hair to like have a little cute style or something. I don't want to just be like a buzz cut baddie anymore. Because that's another thing that I've done over the past few years is I've stopped caring about my appearance, but not in a positive way. I've stopped caring about my appearance in the sense that I don't care if my hair's like if I have patchy bald spots on my head from shaving my own head, or I don't care if my hair looks fried as shit because I bleached it 3 times in one night, or I don't care if my beard is growing to the point where I look like a homeless lumberjack that from like the 1950s. Like that was the kind of negative build that was going on, and I'm finally I'm trying to come out of that. And I think my seasonal depression comes in summer rather than winter. A lot of people get it in winter, but I think mine comes in summer just because of how the mindset that I had, where I didn't like going out and I didn't like being out. And I do one thing I always will and do hate is the heat. I hate sweating. I hate it being hot. I hate feeling sticky and gross. I hate the heat, and I always will. So I think that's another thing why I get seasonal depression. I do prefer being cold, and I always will prefer being cold. I think since we just came out of the summer month, I think it's kind of why I'm kind of lightening up. But even looking back, like even though I could say I lightened up at this time the past few years too, I still was in such a bad like place mentally where it was not who I wanted or needed to be or like looked at all good. I'm getting back to a place where I fix the parts of my appearance that I can and I'm happy with. So I shave my beard, and I shave my beard once or twice a week. And so I don't keep it very long. I don't have a haircut, or I need to get a haircut, and I don't have a haircut because I don't have the clippers to do so. Because I'm not a hairstylist, because I don't shave heads for a living, and I don't have the funds to afford a Uber to a Uber to a hair salon to then pay the stylist with a tip, because you should always tip your service workers. Um, Whether it's delivery services, hairstylists, commissions for art, or Uber drivers, or like servers in a like sit-in restaurant, or a bartender, whatever. Always tip your service workers. That's something I firmly believe in, especially coming from the service and industry and stuff. Always tip your service workers. Um, but I don't have the funds right now to take an Uber to a hair salon, get my hair done, tip both the driver and the hair salon, and then get an Uber back, because I can't schedule the same Uber, or the Uber's not going to sit there and wait 30 to 45 minutes for me, just depending on like the wait time for the appointment, and all that stuff. So it's like I have to schedule a brand new Uber, which is also another. I mean, even if I reserving Ubers, especially where I'm at, I don't know exactly how much it is in other areas, but I would say like an Uber to a hair salon around me would probably be like $10, and then like a tip makes it like 15. Maybe more or take. I would say no more than $20 probably total, including the tip. They're probably no more than $20 to a hair salon. Then the haircut itself is probably around like $15 to $20 plus the tip, which would be like 30. Then that's another $20 back to my apartment. So that's $40 plus the 30. That's $70 that I'm spending in a day just on a haircut, and it's not ideal, and it's not something I can afford. So I've been trying to figure out, or I've not even been trying to figure out. I've just been trying to deal with it. But I'm getting tired of my hair, and that's something that that is so easily cosmetically changed that I don't care about it truly. Like I don't care. I take care of my hair, so I don't care if it's long, because I know that it's cared for, and it feels good. It's soft, it's fluffy, and it's perfect for any man who enjoys long hair and wants to run his fingers through it, if I were to find a man tomorrow. So perfect for that. Anyway, but I don't remember where I was at with the dating apps thing before, but I've opened up more. I did a audio prompt, and then I was looking at a video prompt, and oh, that's where I went. That's where I went. I was talking about how we all have some physical appearance qualms, and so that's something I'm still working on. Is videoing myself, because it's one thing if I videoed myself and it immediately sent out and I never had to watch it again. But if I video myself and I have to watch it back before I like send it out, I don't want to send it out, because I see it and I'm like, ooh, that looks weird, that looks weird. Ooh, I stuttered on that. Ooh, I stuttered on that. So I'm gonna probably have a hard time with this podcast audio diary, just because I'm gonna have to hear myself stutter and say and fix all that, and maybe I won't, and maybe I'll just leave it fully raw, unedited, and you guys can just sit through it, skip through it, or not watch or not listen, because it's annoying. And that's totally fine. But yeah, whenever I see a video of myself afterwards, I don't want to send it through, because I like see all the flaws that I don't like about myself. But like I said, I'm trying to get better about seeing that. Like I said, like my crooked teeth, I really can't fix that. That's not something that I can ideally fix in the next couple months. It's just not going to happen. So that's something that I've kind of actually, and like I said, I've kind of not taken pride in necessarily, but I have come around to. I like my teeth. Could I use a teeth whitener? Sure. Who couldn't these days? You know, I'm not eating the healthiest, but I honestly don't care. I don't care about, not that I don't care about my weight. I do want to maintain the kind of weight I'm at right now. I think that what I'm at right now isn't a bad weight. And I would like to not gain any more. But I think I don't care about what food I eat, because I they're trying to bring back, like, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, but like, mama, I love a good McChicken. Mama, I'm down in the Crunchwrap Supreme with no tomatoes. Okay, Mama, I'm in there on the Wingstop with a large cup of ranch. Okay, Louisiana rub. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I don't care about like my diet, and I do need to balance that, and I do need to start counteracting that by whether it's working out or just you know I feel like I need to start be putting like a yin yang kind of thing on it where if I eat a wing stop then I need to spend at least an hour in the sun or like set kind of something like that kind of goal for myself just to keep myself in a healthier place. I think that's something that I'm going to start working on, and I'll definitely keep updated on here as I upload, so we can keep track um of that. But yeah, that's something that I want to work on. Is is balancing and like kind of yin yanging my lifestyle to make myself kind of into a healthier lifestyle that still feels like the lifestyle that I want to lead. Because I do want to be healthier. I don't want to eat, fucking broccoli and Brussels sprouts every day and, only eat like protein on the weekends or whatever the fucking. I don't know about diet plans. I don't know a lick about what nutrients my body needs in order to like be like the healthiest. And truly, I really don't care that much. I want to counteract or not counteract, but I want to balance out myself in a way that I feel is rewarding to myself. Because like I said, I'm living for myself and I don't have the means to, go get a dietitian or like go see a doctor about it and have them like, you know, recommend me something or go see a what's the like, you know, planner like the trainers or like the whatever the like the exercise trader gym people. Like I don't have the like the means to go out and get someone to recommend me a diet plan, and I even if they did I wouldn't follow it. I have self control, and I that's something that I know that I have, and because I have plenty of self control about so many things in my life, but I don't use my self control on things that maybe feel like I should, which is another thing that I need to work on. Um, but if I could go to a trainer and they could be like, okay, what you want to do is you want to do you want to make it like 1,000 sit-ups a week at least, and then you want to only eat like chicken and rice for like 2 days. You want to eat only chicken and rice for 2 days a week or whatever. I don't know if that's like a realistic diet plan. And like I said, I don't care. But if they could tell me to do that, and then I would not do that. I would do maybe 10 sit-ups, because sit-ups are hard. Um, and then I would do maybe 10 sit-ups, and then I would eat chicken and rice, but I would smother that shit in like slap your mama seasoning or something like that. So it would like to the point where it's like not healthy. So yeah, and that's my truth, and that's my tea. So and that's just how I am. Anyway, I keep on going on a tangent. Back to dating apps. What I was talking about. But I've been filling out, and I've been getting more matches, and since I've been being more open about, I did the voice, I did the voice, the what is it called? Like the voice prompt, I think is on Hinge, is what it's called. I don't know if they have them on Bumble, and no, they don't have them on Tinder. Um, but yeah, I think it was on Hinge, and I got like 2 or 3 likes on the voice prompt itself. And the voice prompt wasn't anything special. It's literally like limit you to 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure I only took maybe 15 seconds of it. And I think the one I chose was like, what do you geek out on? And I was like, and something that a lot of people know about me is that when I get into a game, I immediately go into the lore. Like when I'm like, okay, this is a game that I actually want to get into, I research the lore, so and I know exactly why this character is saying this to that other character. I know why the character has her ability. I know why the character um ended up in the situation she's in the first place. I know the character's sister is on her deathbed, stuff like that. And that's something that I geek out on because I just find it so interesting. I find it so fun. I love storytelling. I love creating characters and stuff like that. So I just think it's so fun. And so that's what I said in my thing. I said something to the effect of like that, where that summed up into like 15 seconds that I said. And I got, like I said, I got like 2 or 3 matches, or like hinge likes, however they do it, where you just like a certain like box on the profile, so it could be a picture or a prompt or whatever. And so I got like 2 or 3 likes on just the voice prompt itself, just because, and it was something that was like so like reassuring because my voice is also something that is it something that like I find awful by any means, and I think that's something that comes from the even just a little amount of content creation that I do, because I don't want to say I'm a content creator because I've uploaded 3 videos. I stream on Twitch where I don't have to watch the VOD back. Well, actually that's not true because I am working on editing Crown Jewel, which I have been having to watch my VOD back, which crazy. Crown Jewel announcement coming soon, hopefully. I need to actually get into gear and finish editing that. I finished the first episode fully. I almost finished the second episode. Yeah, I've still got a lot more to do, but I've got the base edits for everything done, at least like all the cuts and everything. So I just need to get some final touches on everything. What was I talking about? Oh, I was saying, yeah, I think my voice, I've gotten used to hearing my voice back. So hearing my voice, like hearing the tone of my voice and hearing how my voice sounds, even though I may not necessarily enjoy it or want to listen to it myself. Like if I heard myself talking on a podcast, I would not want to listen to that podcast. Just because I personally don't like my voice. I find my voice annoying. Um, but it's reassuring because some people do enjoy my voice, and my friends do tell me that like they don't necessarily say, "Oh my god, I love your voice," but they say that like I talk in such a way, and not even just my friends. I've heard this from other people too, but they say that I talk in a way where having a medium like this, like a podcast or like an audio diary, having a medium like this would be beneficial because I'm able to just talk and I have a voice that people could listen to. This is what they said. This is not what I'm saying myself, by the way. But they say that I have a voice that people could listen to as they're, you know, reading their book or cleaning up their living room or doing the dishes or in the shower, just like a voice that like they just want to listen to, that like is just soothing. Like some people say I even like could put them to bed, and I don't know about the put to the bed part because I am a yapper and I don't feel like I have the most soothing voice. I kind of feel like I low-key have like almost a smoker's voice, and I've never smoked like a day in my life. um well, never smoked a cigarette. I used to vape. That's the story for another time. But yeah, like I feel like I don't really have like the most like soothing of voices. I feel like my voice is a little like sandpapery sometimes. But that's whatever. But I mean, like I said, I got matches on it, and it was reassuring, and it felt good that like people were just like liking the voice prompt. Not only, I mean, obviously they're probably not liking it just because of how my voice sounds, but they're liking it because of how what I was speaking about in the voice prompt, which is something that like I enjoy. So of course I'm going to sound excited and happy about it, and that's something that a lot of people will like on your profile if you do make a dating app profile. Like you just have like it's just something that is so important, especially nowadays, to find something that you're like excited about and passionate in, because there's a lot of people who aren't driven and aren't passionate about anything, and they're just boring people. And you see them, and like objectively you're like, oh my god, that's a really attractive person, but then you talk to them and maybe it's just that they don't really know you that well, so they're not opening up. But it also just feels like they're boring because they're not really saying anything. Like they're not really like you're like, oh, like I was playing this video game the other day, we really got into it, like blah blah blah, and then they're like, oh cool, and then you're like, oh, like what did you do? They're like, I went to work today. Oh, like what do you do for work? Oh, I'm like a welder. I like at my job. I like make furnishings or something like that, like via welding. Oh, cool. Like how long have you been doing that? Oh, like a year or so. Oh, cool. What am I supposed to say to that? You're not being like, you're not giving me anything to feed off of you. You're not being like, oh my god, yeah, like I've been doing it for a year. I went to school for it. I've kind of liked it for a while. Like I can't, you can't expect me if you're going to just be like, yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm that. That's not, that's not the type of response that's going to feed a positive like vibe. When I respond to you, I'm kind of giving like little paragraphs, which some people don't like, and some people do have a texting style that is a lot more simple, which is fine. But when you ask me something like, oh, like what's your favorite video game, or what games do you play? What's your favorite video games to play? And I say, oh, I really enjoy Valorant because the characters in there, like the character design is really cool. I really enjoy the lore. I think it's a very cool concept on a radianite blast, causing a lot of like humans to become like superpowers, and then them like forming like a secret league and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna go into the lore of Valorant here, but I give like a little synopsis like that, and they're like, oh cool, like, oh that's cool, lol. And then I'm like, oh yeah, like what do you like to do? And then they're like, oh, I like welding. Okay, well, what do you like about welding? Oh, shut up. Get out of my like message box. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what's the point in matching if you're not going to like be interesting or be like have like some sort of like initiative or passion about something to start a conversation? And that's why on my profile, I on Bumble specifically, they have like the initiate, I think is what it's called, like where it's when you get a match, a prompt pops up that you can input yourself or you can have one auto generated, and most people just have theirs auto generated. It's like, oh, what could I know about you that's not on your profile, or oh, what color is your like underwear or whatever. That's not a prompt that I ever ran into, but you do whatever. My prompt on there, which I think is a great prompt. I want to know if you ran a school or company or business that needed or had a mascot and you were in charge of choosing it because it's your company, your business. What animal or mascot are you choosing? It doesn't even have to be an animal because mascots can be anything. So what mascot are you choosing? And furthermore, what color? What color combo are you choosing for that mascot? Me personally, I'm choosing a penguin, and we're doing black, blue, and white. And partially blue and white because I grew up in a blue and white school, but penguins are naturally black and white. And I think adding blue into that, it just furthers it because penguins are penguins are my favorite animal, first of all, so obviously I'm gonna choose a penguin. But you can even do like the penguin doesn't even have to be black and white. The penguin could be like a light blue and white and then have black accents or just like a black outline, and that can be like the three color combo. Like you can do so many combinations with this. And so I've only ever gotten one good response to that, which was someone said that they would do a tiger, but instead of orange, white, and black, like normal, they would do red. I think they said red. What did they say? I don't know. I'd have to check my Bumble, and I don't feel like doing that. But they said red, black, and then another color that wasn't white. And they said that they would, and they were like I just enjoy the color combo of the red and what I think it was like, it wasn't like a pink, or it wasn't like a contrasting color. It was a color that went well with red. I can't remember for the life of me. But they were like, I really enjoy the color combo of those two, and I think that those two as the stripes would honestly be better, and just having like a black tiger with like those stripes. And so it's almost like a tiger silhouette with the color of the two colors for the stripes. And I thought that was like really cool. Which tigers don't really have white stripes, do they? They're just like black and orange, aren't they? I don't know. I'm not a tiger expert. I don't care about tigers. Me and tigers, we're not like this. We're not cross fingers emoji. Okay, me and tigers, we're not like this. Me and penguins, however, we are like this. We are actually all fingers that you can cross and all toes that you can cross. That's me and penguins. Okay, that's the truth. Um, but yeah, that was like the most interesting answer that I've ever gotten. Everybody else is like, well, if they even answer it, most people just ignore it and they're just like, "Hi, okay, you're boring. But like I said, I'll always message you back. I will always message back, even if I don't think you're like the most attractive person. I'll always message back at least a couple, like just to entertain like at least one conversation with you, just because I do think that personality is important. I think that looks get the match, personality carries the relationship. So obviously, I would have to be somewhat attracted to you to swipe with you. So even if you're not like my most preferred match that I've ever swiped on, I still find you attractive enough to swipe on you. Like I said, unless I was, back where I was swiping on everyone just because I wanted the attention, which, yeah, led me to a lot of bad situations. But yeah, like if that's the most interesting answer I've ever gotten to that question. If anybody that else answers the question, they'll just be like, oh, like I think a lion. I do a lion. I do a bear. I do a dolphin. Okay. Okay. Okay, but like are you interesting? Okay, but like are you like swimming with dolphins? Okay, but like did like a lion like raise you? Like why do you want a lion? Is lion your favorite animal? Did you choose the bear because the bear it lives in the woods and you grew up like in like a wooded area and you had a bear in your backyard one time and you thought it was really cool? I would love to know about that story. Go ahead and tell me about it. I just think that there's so much more interesting stuff that you could talk about than just answering with like, to answer your thing, I would say a lion. Okay, and I would say you're blocked. Hey, what about you're blocked? Thought about that? Thoughts? So yeah. Let's see. I don't know if I want to do any of the other topics that I wrote down this time because I did kind of go on a tangent and we are at about 48 minutes. So, um, I think I am gonna go ahead and leave this first episode here. Uh, I can't. I can't believe that I actually talked for 48 minutes because I've been watching a lot of podcasts recently. Broski Report and Two Idiot Girls, the comment section, So True. A lot of those podcasts, Very Delta and stuff like that, and even some like other like shows that aren't necessarily podcasts, are more like review shows. But uh, I've been watching more of those recently, and Drew Follow said something where she was like, if you want to start a podcast, don't like try sitting and recording yourself talk for 45 minutes and see if you can do it. And this was my test run, and I sure as hell did that. Did I probably repeat things like 18 times? Sure. Did I maybe stutter a bit and say a lot? Sure. Is that something that I can work on over time? Yes. And that's something I will get more comfortable doing. So yeah. But she also said to identify a goal with the podcast, because you don't just want to be up here talking for no reason. And so I think my goal for this podcast, which I think I did say at the beginning, is to just like document my feelings for like over like a certain period of time. Like I don't know if this will be weekly uploads, monthly uploads, bi-weekly. I don't really know exactly how frequent the uploads will be or the recording sessions will be. Um, but I think that the point of it is it's not necessarily for anyone else. It's more of just documenting myself and journaling myself, but in a place where other people can hear it and maybe find some sort of relation to it. Um, and also listen to while they're cleaning their apartment, um, and that's not to say that I'm going to say every single thing that I'm ever thinking on here, because there are some things that are better left unsaid, and there are some things better left off the internet. So that's not to say you'll hear every single opinion or thought or anything that I ever have. Um, but yeah, also the background we're seeing right now for the YouTube audience, not the official background. I just quickly whipped something up in Canva because I needed something to at least have for the video. I do need to work on a more pinpointed thing. But I think I do love a good retro vibe. And since I do want this to be more audio diary than video, there probably won't be much. I probably will never do a face cam for it. Um, but I do love a good retro vibe, and so I think that like this kind of old timey radio image is something that I do want to maybe use. And then obviously we're calling it Eternal. We're I say we're as if it's a team. It's literally just me. I'm gonna be the one fully editing and recording and everything like that off of my new PC that I just got a couple weeks ago. Not even a week, couple weeks ago, literally like last week. Um, but I, we're calling it Eternal Audio Diary, just because it's something that doesn't necessarily really have to end. It's not something that it needs to be seasons even. It's just going to be an audio diary, when it's just going to be uploads when I feel like uploading it. And I feel like I do better when I don't have a schedule, because it feels less like a job or a chore. So I don't. That's why I said I don't know if how frequent the uploads will be. I definitely won't upload more than once a week, because that's I'll try to save it for spacing out at least a little bit. Um, but I'm not sure how frequent the episodes will be. So yeah, thank you for listening to episode 1 of the Eternal Audio Diary, storing, of course, me, Stevie, Eternally Stevie. I don't really have anything else to plug. I mean, look out for any updates about Crown Jewel. You can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Find me anywhere at Eternally Stevie. That's ETernallyStevie on basically everything. That's all I have for you guys tonight at 3:46 a.m. Have a good one.